Okay, we're going to read Past the Salt. When we are thinking about the most important things in our lives, how many of us ever think about salt? Without salt, we would not be able to live. All right. There will be a quiz at the end. And let's go ahead and begin. What is salt? Go ahead.
Salt is a mineral made of sodium and chloride. It is one of the most common minerals in the world. That's good because it is very important to humans. Why? All living creatures need salt to survive. Think of something salty. Now imagine tasting it. Your tongue has special taste buds for basic human tastes such as sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. The taste buds for salt are one each side of the tongue.
All right, very good. This word right here is
Chloride.
chloride. Okay, chloride.
Chloride.
All right, very good. Hello, Oleg.
Hello, Luz. Hello.
Very good. We're reading about salt. You can begin here. Where is salt? Go ahead.
Where is salt? Most of the salt in the world is found in seawater. It is also found in salt lakes and salt springs, and in the earth itself. Scientists believe that ocean once covered a large part of the globe. When the climate changed and the oceans dried up in places, salt was left behind.
Searching for salt. People have always needed salt to survive. In ancient times, people mostly ate meat, but about 10,000 years ago, more and more people began farming. They grew cereals and grains, which have less salt than meat. People needed to add salt to their diet, so they began to search for it. About 8,000 years ago, people gathered salt from the surface of Xaichi Lake. This is a salt lake in what is now China. About 6,500 years ago, in what is now Azerbaijan, people found rock salt deep in the ground. They created a salt mine that was probably the first one in the world.
Okay, this is 6,500.
When people couldn't find salt, they tried to make it. About 5,000 years ago, people in Egypt made salt by using heat from the sun. They created shallow ponds. They let in the seawater and they waited. Remember, seawater is made of water, salt, and some minerals. Over time, the water evaporated.
Evaporate. Evaporate.
The salt in the minerals were left behind. This kind of salt is called the sea salt. The ancient Maya made salt in this way too.
Fire plus salty water equals salt. People also made salt using fire. They heated seawater or water from salt springs. The water boiled away. The salt was left behind. Almost 3,000 years ago in ancient China, people were making salt in this way.
Some foods don't stay fresh for long because bacteria in food can make it go bad. Adding salt to food can slow down the growth of bacteria, so it lasts longer. Since ancient times, people have added salt to food for this reason. Um, for example, in 3000 BC, the Egyptians used salt to preserve meat and fish.
Paying with salt. For a time, salt was so valuable that people used it instead of gold to pay for goods. In ancient China, some coins were made of salt. At one time, ancient Roman soldiers were paid with money and some salt. This payment of salt was called a salarium. The English word salary comes from this ancient word salarium. Sol is the Latin word for salt.
Everyone has always needed salt, but long ago not everyone could find it or make it. People who did have salt could make some good deals. People without salt were very eager to trade for it, so salt became very valuable in fact, most early trade routes and roads were made to help people trade salt more easily.
Route.
Routes.
Route.
Routes. About 6,500 years ago, people in Central Asia were trading salt for copper and other metals. About 2,500 years ago, people in Europe also began trading salt. From about 600 to 180 AD, salt was traded for gold in West Africa. Caravans of camels carried the good back and forth. One sack of salt was worth one sack of gold. People fought for control of the salt trade.
Pass the salt, please. Today, salt is used in more than 14,000 ways. For example, people use table salt to season food. Table salt is made from rock salt. Workers dig up chunks of rock salt from the ground. They remove other minerals from it, then they put it in additives that prevents the grains of salt from sticking together. They also add iodine because many people around the world don't get enough iodine, which help protect them from basic health problems.
Salt is used in many other ways. Some companies make chemicals from company make
Company.
companies some companies make chemicals from salt. Then they add chemicals to drinking water and swimming pools to keep them safe. They use them to make thousands of products. Some examples are bleach, glass, soap, plastic, rubber.
Tested. In countries with severe winter weather, pathways can be icy. Some people put salt on them. Why? This helps to melt the ice. Water with salt in freeze at lower temperatures than water without salt in it. Test it. Fill 2 cups with water. Put spoonfuls of salt in one. Stir. Put both cups in the freezer. Check how long it takes the water to freeze. What difference did the salt make? Salt makes a difference to our lives too.
Index. Bacteria, chemicals, aeration, experiment, iodine, minerals, payment, preservation, product, rock salt, sea salt, salt springs, salt lakes, taste, trade, use.
Very good. Let's look at the glossary. We have the word ancient, bacteria, chemicals, create, evaporate, globe, iodine, minerals, preserve, trade. These are all very, very good words to know and to remember. So hopefully you can do a screenshot and keep track of these words. All right, these are words you can use every day. All right, good job reading. Let's look at the quiz. Salt is a
Mineral.
Mineral.
People in Egypt made salt by using heat from the
Sun.
Sun.
fire, and salty water equals
Salt.
Salt.
people in Central Asia were trading salt for
Money.
Money. Copper, and other materials.
people use table salt to
Seasoned food.
Seasoned food.
yes, very good job. Last one. This book is about
Salt.
sure not candy. Very good. All right, let's go to the next story. All right, good job. I'm going to stop recording.